Count on LEX 18 News.
5 counties, a 60-mile stretch. High-speed chase comes to an end with a pileup in Franklin County. We have team coverage of the chase and what sparked it. Plus, the Cats are in the swamp taking on the Gators tomorrow night.
LEX 18 News at 5 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Cox.
And I'm Kevin Christopher. Thanks for joining us at 5. Boy, it was a wild and dangerous scene on the interstate today, with speeds topping 120 miles an hour from Berea to Frankfort. The chase spanned 60 miles.
Several police agencies took part in the chase that ended in a crash along I-64 West in Frankfort. Kelsey Borza is live with the LEX 18 Big Story at 5.
Yeah, the interstate here around exit 53 in Franklin County just opened up a few minutes ago. It was closed before 2 o'clock this afternoon when a suspect who was being chased by police wrecked his car as he was going through 5 different counties. Now, the chase started in Berea after some suspicious activity with credit cards at a bank. Police say one of the suspects took off in a white Charger. We've just learned the driver of that Charger is 26-year-old Ezra Conway of Illinois. Police say when Conway took off from the bank, that's when the chase began. Cruiser after cruiser in hot pursuit of this guy up I-75 and then onto I-64. At one point, the suspect was seen throwing money out of his window. We're told several cruisers were run off the road by him as he was trying to get away. Then, just before the bridge in Franklin County, police put down stop sticks, but the suspect drove around them, crashing into 2 cars.
Like I said, he tried to avoid some spike strips, and when he did, he lost control, and that's when he hit another vehicle. And also, spun out of control and wrecked his vehicle as well.
We're told the driver of that vehicle that he hit was taken to the hospital, but right now we don't know the extent of their injuries. We're covering the news live in Franklin County from the LEX 18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
Now, police say they do have another man in custody who was caught running away in Berea. They arrested 25-year-old Devontae Pendleton of Chicago. Investigators told us they're updating the charges both men will be facing.
Well, you can imagine the tension during a chase that went from Madison to Fayette to Scott, then Woodford, before ending in Franklin County.
LEX 18's Conroy Delouche continues our team coverage from our newsroom.
Kevin and Nancy, the chase started on I-75 in Berea, and we tracked the pursuit from highway overpasses here in Lexington and also on traffic cams and police scanners from right here in our newsroom. While chasing the Dodge Charger for more than 60 miles across 5 counties, police also had to avoid the hundreds of cars on I-75 and I-64. On the scanners, you could hear officers discussing strategies to try and slow him down and also trying to keep up with the speeding Charger.
The trooper that's behind the vehicle and the speed. So you give me the mile marker, where you're at, give me the speed. I got 100-mile marker, what's your speed?
And
101, 124, 124.
And as Kelsey reported, the car crashed trying to avoid stop sticks in Franklin County, and he is now in custody. We'll have more on this chaotic chase coming up at 5:30. Back to you.
Stay with LEX18.com for the latest updates and big stories of the day. There's some breaking news in Lexington. Neighbors at an apartment complex quickly evacuated their homes after seeing smoke. And the scariest part was they couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
LEX 18's Carolina Buchek is live at the Fontainebleau apartment complex on Harrodsburg Road with the latest.
Some neighbors are still out here waiting to go home, but firefighters say the 33 apartments in that center building behind me likely won't be inhabitable for a while because some electrical connections were badly damaged there. Now, neighbors say they were home and started seeing smoke, and before they knew it, someone was yelling for them to get out because there was a fire. Firefighters say it started somewhere in the back of the center building where the utility meters connect to the inside of the building. Firefighters say there's some damage to a few of the apartments, but not much fire damage, actually. It's mostly electrical damage, and they say that could actually take a while to fix. Neighbors are just glad everyone made it out okay, and they finally know what happened.
Well, as soon as I come in from work, she come running in the apartment and said, we got some smoke, but we can't figure out where it's coming from. And the longer it went on, it started getting a little heavier. So then she decided to make everybody get out just to then call the fire department when they realized she went around back and there was a breaker box back there making all kinds of noise.
Now, firefighters say there is some smoke in some of these apartments still, so that is what they are working on now. And once they're done with that, the apartment manager here is going to need to figure out where the people who live in these 33 center apartments are going to spend the next couple of days as all of this damage is fixed. Covering the news live in Lexington from the LEX 18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
Comments from a top advisor to President Trump have prompted a lot of response on social media.
LEX 18's Michael Burke joins us with the developing story about Kellyanne Conway and what did or did not happen in Bowling Green.
Nancy Conway appeared on MSNBC's Hardball and talked about a 2011 massacre that she said took place in Bowling Green. The problem is, that massacre never happened.
President Obama had a 6-month ban on the Iraqi refugee program after 2 Iraqis came here to this country, were radicalized, and they were the masterminds behind the Bowling Green massacre.
What did Ms. Conway just say?
That kind of surprises me a little bit.
Those who survived the 2011 Bowling Green massacre, that never happened, are reacting to the carnage of that fateful day. That never existed.
I'm not sure what that says that Kellyanne Conway knows anything about Bowling Green.
We were founded on ideals of truth and liberty, and they seem to not really respect that.
Conway later clarified her remarks on Twitter, stating she meant to say Bowling Green terrorists, not that they had actually masterminded an attack on this western Kentucky town. But the clarification is too little too late for those who were shocked to learn of a so-called massacre in their own town.
Wow.
Most people don't know that because it didn't get covered.
And coming up on LEX 18 News at 6 o'clock tonight, several people in the political world, including Kentucky's Secretary of State, weighed in on Conway's error, and we will show you their reactions. Kevin?
And we look forward to that, Michael. Thank you. 2 Fort Campbell soldiers are dead, and a man is in custody after a shooting. It happened just after 7:30 last night on Arkansas Avenue in Oak Grove in Christian County. Investigators say 35-year-old Jeremy DeMar got into a fight with his wife. Authorities say he forced his way into the home and shot her and another man. A 16-year-old was in the home at the time and suffered minor injuries trying to fight DeMar. Police say he drove off and was caught a short time later with his 2-year-old daughter in the car.
This story is sure to outrage animal lovers. An investigation is underway after some puppies were found dumped in a bag in the middle of a Lexington street. LEX 18's Joe Ducey has the story.
4 Chihuahua mixed puppies, all from the same litter and about 6 weeks old, are lucky to be alive tonight.
We're definitely grateful that someone at least contacted us and was able to, let us know that these puppies were in that situation.
A Good Samaritan called Animal Care and Control after he found the puppies abandoned out in the elements on Race Street Wednesday around 2 p.m.
Our cruelty investigator went out, and that's when she found a gentleman that had found these puppies inside of a bag.
There's no sign the puppies were abused or malnourished. In a Facebook post, investigators say the puppies would have died if the Good Samaritan who found them hadn't called.
We're trying to piece everything together. That's why we're asking for the community's help and trying to, if anybody has any information, to give us a call. But at this time, we really don't know how long they were left out or, the reason why they were left out.
Covering the news in Lexington, Joe Ducey, LEX 18 News.
If you're interested in adopting the puppies or any other animals at the Humane Society, find a link with more information on our website, lex18.com.
It's going to be in a 3-dog night because it's going to be getting awfully cold outside. We're talking temperatures, middle teens for a lot of us as we start off your day tomorrow. The good news, if you're having to deal with the cold, is that it's not going to last long. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll be above freezing. By the early part of next week, we're talking temperatures that are going to be pushing well into the 60s. So, again, this is short-lived. It's been the traits of most of this winter season. The cold has not been able to hang, and even stuff that we're looking at later on next week, it's not going to hang around long either. Now, it's plenty cold out there today. We did not see much warmth at all, even with some late-day sun. Flemingsburg and Moorhead, northern Kentucky, we're still in the upper 20s. It's 30 in Mount Sterling, 30 in Frankfort, 30 in Richmond. Lexington, we're at 31. We're in the low 30s as you look through Somerset and London, and middle 30s there at Williamsburg and Monticello. Max Track Live Doppler, we were tracking some virga earlier today. The air is awfully dry, and so anything that was falling out of the clouds likely was evaporating before it made it to the ground. The sky remains clear as we go through the night tonight on our future track. As we go through the day tomorrow, we will see some clouds begin to increase. That's in advance of the warm air that will be coming in for Sunday, but this front looks to be coming through pretty quietly. Mid-teens to start off your day tomorrow. That is cold. Should be around freezing at lunchtime, close to 40 by the end of the day. We will talk about a lot of ups and downs. We'll have that for you in a couple minutes.
Bill, thanks.
It could be one of the better games in college basketball this weekend. At least we hope it is. UK at Florida.
Yeah, with the Gators coming off that big blowout win last night against Missouri. Alan Cutler's in the newsroom with your True Blue preview.
Hi, guys. Kentucky favored by 2 right now. By the way, hiring Kevin White is one of the smartest hires in college basketball over the last 5 years. They have a top 10 recruiting class coming in next year, and this is a great stat. No team this year playing Florida has hit their scoring average during regulation. They're 7-2 in the conference. Kentucky is 8-1 and tied with South Carolina for the best record. And UK has won the last 5 in a row against the Gators. Now, Derek Willis believes it's the toughest place to play in the Southeastern Conference on the road because the crowd is right on top of you. I remember going there in the 1990s when UK had veterans, and they were great. And fans would be yelling and screaming and cursing the players as soon as they got on the warm-ups. And instead of getting upset, the players were laughing about what was being said. To today, Kentucky's defense has slipped. It happens. They're trying to fix it.
Points when you don't even have defense back there. You know, the live ball turnovers where they're going 2-on-0, 1-on-0, 3-on-1, whatever that might be. You want to give yourself a chance to get a stop. So I think defensively in the half court, it's attention to detail, it's communicating, it's all the things that we've been saying since October.
Now, as far as the flu, Derek Willis says the sickness is going through the team, but he doesn't have it. When Florida beat LSU on January 25th, they hit 19 threes, a school record. When Kentucky beat Florida last year, 88-79, Kentucky was 7 of 10 from downtown. By the way, Malik Monk, 70 from downtown this year, tops in the conference. He's over 41%. That's a wow. It's a big game. Coming up in sports, one of the fathers of the players made a long trip to Lexington. Back to you.
Tell Alan's excited. We're excited about this, too. It's never too early to talk Derby. This year's Pegasus pen design has been released. Officials say it's a throwback to the original pen designed in 1973. The pens will be available to the public for $6 each, starting in May, just before the Derby. We'll have more details about the pen on our websites, LEX18.com. An update to a story we told you about earlier this week.
Investigators have been combing an area in Shelby County for human remains after a skull was found. What police are saying today is coming up in a few minutes on LEX 18 News at 5. And then at 5:30. Following a special LEX 18 investigation, a man has been indicted, accused of illegally recycling hazardous materials.
Tell the excitement really is building back here in the LEX 18 Storm Tracker Weather Center because, of course, as you all know, this is Weather Persons Day weekend. And so, again, we're all making up our final list here for the gifts that we want the great meteorologists to bring and the whole bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're excited because, banks are closed this year.
Are we bringing each other gifts? Or
Yeah.
are people bringing us gifts?
It usually goes to the chief.
Oh, is that
Yeah, so it works its way up the chain of command. All right, so again, yeah, again, the excitement is building. We hope you'll be able to celebrate the day along with us. Let's talk about our weather, shall we? Oh, Max Track Live Doppler here, 5:15. This is what happens when there's not a lot of weather to talk about. There really isn't. It's been interesting to watch over the last, really, several weeks. And we're looking at our computer models toward the medium ranges. We're talking 4, 5, 6, 7 days out. And there have been huge storms sitting there at that time frame on the models. And then as we get closer to them, they sort of go away. This weekend, not being an exception to that. A few days ago, this was looking like something important coming in. You may not see anything out your window at all. Max Track Live Doppler 5:15 is quiet. So tonight, CCC, clear, calm, and cold. The weekend, though, does get warmer as it goes on. Next week, there are huge swings. Really warm and, again, really cold. Tonight is really cold. We're talking mid-teens for a lot of us to get the day started tomorrow. Again, that'll get your attention. As we are looking at temperatures for the highs, well, today we barely got above freezing. Tomorrow we're going to flirt with 40, still below normal. We're going to be in the near 50, though, on Sunday, close to 60 on Monday, in the 60s on Tuesday. The 48 we're showing there on Wednesday. That's an iffy temperature. It's going to depend on how quickly the cold front comes through. That could be 3 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. We'll spend the bulk of the day Wednesday in the 30s, and some snow may actually be flying. We're talking about wind chills now running in the low 20s. It is cold out there. When you're looking at the thermometer, okay, that's saying low 30. So again, the wind enhancing the cold just a little bit there for us. It's 31 right now at the Bluegrass Airport. The air really, really dry. This is modified Arctic air. When that dew point is down at 4, you know this stuff came from all the way up in northern Canada. But trying to get you into a warmer feel here, so we take you to our Kentucky One Health weather bug camera from Whitaker Bank Ballpark. Just keep in mind, pitchers and catchers, we're less than 2 weeks from reporting for spring training. So there we go. You are looking at the clouds that have been around with us off and on during the day. They've been thinning out here over the last couple of hours. We had a little system pass by to the north again. That was mostly radar snow. But now, the sky's cleared out here to our west. Here's the setup. Big high pressure. Again, it's modified Arctic air. So as the sun goes down tonight and the wind dies off, those temperatures are going to tank in a hurry. By tomorrow morning, the high drifts from right overhead over into the Carolinas. Here comes your first of what will be a couple of warm fronts. Looks like now this front will come through dry. Might kick off a sprinkle or flurry. Mild air for us on Sunday. The really warm air will follow with the second front early next week. Clear to partly cloudy, a bitterly cold night. We're headed down to the mid-teens. Morning sun, partly sunny in the afternoon, close to 40 tomorrow. We're going to be close to 50, though, on Sunday. Close to 60 on Monday with rain. Thunderstorms around on Tuesday. Rain changes to snow as temperatures crash on Wednesday and stays cold for a day or two.
Up and down, up and down, up and down. That's the way it's been, huh?
Nothing's locked in this year.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. The Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame is celebrating its 15th induction class.
This year's class includes Ernie Green of the Browns, Virgil Livers with the Bears, Todd Perry of the Bears and Dolphins, William Gay of the Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals. And Kevin, I'm going to let you finish this.
And Bruce Kozerski, who played for the Bengals.
But I'm ever so grateful for the opportunity to be inducted into such a prestigious community of the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's beyond what I ever would have expected.
The official ceremony is June 22nd at the Keeneland Sales Pavilion. Proceeds will go to the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club of the Bluegrass in Lexington.
That's a great event.
Sure is. Months after the shooting death of Lexington teenager Trinity Gay, there's been a hearing for the men accused in connection with her death.
The courtroom update is coming up on LEX 18 News at 5:30. But still ahead of 5, the search is on for a driver after a little girl was hit by a car outside her dance class last night.
You're watching LEX 18 News at 5.
In tonight's LEX 18 cover in Kentucky, a decomposed body was found yesterday in a field just north of a Sam's Club in Elizabethtown.
The Hardin County Deputy Coroner says he thinks it's been in that field near Town Drive for up to 4 months. The body was taken to the medical examiner's office in Louisville for an autopsy. Officials say right now there is no reason to believe the person was killed. He expects the cause of death will be ruled natural causes, but an investigation is underway. And we have an LEX 18 News update from Shelby County. The Sheriff's Department says this afternoon they found more human remains on a property where a skull was found. Dogs discovered a human skull on Wednesday in the woods off Samples Road in Waddy. The sheriff says by looking at the skull, it appears as though that person had been dead for at least a year or more. Officials say a lengthy investigation is expected.
An arrest has been made in a deadly hit and run that happened in Corbin. It happened on US 25E around 2:30 Wednesday morning. Police say 62-year-old Roscoe Jones was walking near Corbin Station Shopping Center when he was hit and killed. Police have since arrested 46-year-old John Melton. He's charged with second-degree manslaughter, leaving the scene of an accident, and failing to render aid.
Police in Louisville say a 9-year-old girl has life-threatening injuries after a hit and run last night. It happened around 9 last night near 10th and Broadway in downtown Louisville. Police say she got out of her parents' car in the median to get her glasses from a dance studio when she was hit. Witnesses say she was thrown at least 50 feet and pinned under another car. Bystanders had to lift that car off her. She was taken to the hospital to be treated for broken legs and a brain injury, and so far, no arrests.
Well, officials say it was terroristic in nature.
An attacker with a knife was shot outside the Louvre in Paris. The update's coming up at 5:30 when LEX 18 covers your world. Up next, though, a look at chemicals that can be found in common household items. Later this year, some will be banned. Details in tonight's LEX 18 Health Watch.
After this year, an FDA ban removing 19 antimicrobial chemicals from soap will go into effect.
But be aware, the same chemicals can be found in many other common household products without any labeling. Dia Davidson has tonight's LEX 18 Health Watch.
Starting in September, all antimicrobial soaps containing the potentially hazardous chemical triclosan will be off store shelves. The FDA banned it and 18 other chemicals from hand soaps. Research suggests antimicrobial products might be causing an increase in antibiotic resistance. In turn, that can lead to an increased risk of antibiotic-resistant infections like MRSA. While soaps will no longer be an issue, these same chemicals are still used in many other products not subject to the FDA ban. Plush toys, pool wings, building blocks, even craft supplies like markers and scissors can all contain the chemicals without any label required. Some of these products are marketed as being antimicrobial, but many aren't. If you are concerned about the chemicals in your home, you can get recommendations from advocacy groups like the Environmental Working Group and Beyond Pesticides. Covering health news, Dia Davidson, LEX 18 News.
His life was changed with a bulletproof vest.
For the first time, a former Paris police officer talks publicly about the day he almost lost his life. His story is coming up on LEX 18 News at 6.